All right, guys, injuries for practice today. Josh Norman, chest, won't practice. K1 calf, no practice. Kittle, calf, no practice. Trent Williams having a maintenance day. Bosa, maintenance day. Kinlaw, knee, won't practice. Elijah Mitchell, shoulder, he'll be limited. And Alex Mack, that day too. Go ahead.
Armstead?
Yeah, he's full go.
What's the severity of Kittle's calf injury?
I mean, he should be all right this week. Just a sore day than we expected, and we'll take it day by day now.
You guys have so many players not practicing. Do you kind of change things up, or how does that impact just preparing?
I think we're all right, because the 16 practice squad guys definitely helps. It would have been a tough in the past, and we're not too overloaded at one position, so it shouldn't affect it today.
With Norman, do you expect him to play this week? Is that still up in the air?
I have no idea with that. That's just, he's got to pass some tests throughout the week, and I know he wants to. He seems a lot better today, but he's got to pass some number of tests to be able to.
You activated the IR windows for a couple guys, but not Jalen Hurd. So what's Hurd's status? What's the plan for him?
He's just not there yet. The other two guys are ready to go. They'll practice today, and when they're ready, we'll get them up.
Kyle, just recently, both you and John Lynch have said that you weren't going to close the door on Richard Sherman. Obviously, he signed today with the Buccaneers, but what made the three guys that you signed the past 3 weeks at that position, what made them better fits at this stage for where you guys are?
I think it was more the timing when we did it. I mean, at first we weren't sure we were bringing them in, whether they were going to start, whether they were going to be a backup, whether they were going to even dress, knowing that they would have to help on special teams, things like that. We didn't think that was the time for Sherm with what he's been here and stuff. Now he's been the starter. We weren't going to bring him in case we knew exactly what his role was. And then this week, I think he just had a better opportunity at Tampa. Some of the injuries we have and stuff, we need an outside and inside guy. Still would have loved to have Sherm, but the situation at Tampa was a little bit better for him, I think, or what he decided. And I was glad we were able to get Buster in here, too, who has played inside and outside throughout his career.
So did you guys, when Richard declared to go there to visit, were you guys in touch with him about possibly bringing him back?
Yeah, John's been in touch with him a ton. I haven't talked to him for a couple of weeks, but it's the same as John talking to him, and he was in touch with him the whole time. But that's why we were hoping he was going to be there throughout for a while. So when it made sense for both of us, we could do it. But we lost that opportunity because Tampa came through, and it just wasn't the right timing for us.
Just to clarify, so you have Emmanuel Mosley and Josh Norman, who I'm assuming, if healthy, are your starters. Did you not envision Richard as a starter if he were to come in right now?
I mean, I think he needs a couple weeks to get ready, like at least a week. And, I mean, there's contract things that go into it also that play into everything. So it's about as much I'll say about it, but we would love to have Richard here. But it makes sense why he went to Tampa.
Is Buster in the same time frame? Does he need a couple of weeks to get ready?
I mean, he says he's ready. I think he needs more time to learn our defense and stuff, but we'll see how many decisions we have or we can make at the end of this week based off everyone's health. But he hopped in there today, did good and walk through, and we'll keep him going throughout the week.
Is George the type of player that he doesn't need to practice to play in a Sunday game?
No, I don't think anyone's really like that. I mean, it helps everyone to practice, but we're not giving George off just to get it off. George plays pretty physically, gives everything he's got, and sometimes he's got a little wear and tear on him that takes a little longer to get it back.
Practice time for a backup quarterback is typically scarce throughout the week. But what are you looking for during the week from Trey in order to make a determination about how much he plays on Sunday?
I mean, because Trey's our backup quarterback. I mean, this isn't the preseason. We're not just going back and forth all the time. I mean, Trey goes in for specific plays or things we want to do. Trey's week in and week out. He gets better each week the more reps he gets on scout team and stuff like that. But there's not a big decision going into that each week. We put in a game plan for our starting quarterback. The backup needs to be able to do all of that if he gets hurt. And what's cool about Trey is because of his different skill set, we always keep him alive with a couple plays on situations.
Given the way the offense has started the last 2 weeks, is there any thought to inserting him earlier in the game to sort of get things going a little bit faster, give the defense something different to look at to get the offense moving?
I mean, if we thought that would be the case, we'd do it.
Let me to ask this. I mean, if the offense is out of rhythm early on, is there a worry that, taking the starting quarterback out of the game for a couple of snaps would sort of continue the problem, exacerbate the situation?
No, there's not a quarterback battle right now. I mean, we're going with our starting quarterback, who I think is playing very well. Happy that he is, so Trey is not thrown into any situations he has to do too early. If he ever is thrown into that, then I know Trey will deal with that, and he'll get better as it goes, but we have a luxury where we don't have to do that yet to Trey or to our team. So hopefully we won't have to.
Jimmy's been a lot more efficient second quarter onward. Have you been able to identify any common links as to his struggles efficiency-wise in the first quarter?
Yeah, when the whole offense is struggling, usually the quarterback does. And I think we have in the first half, the last two games. And I think the whole offense did a lot better in the second half, and usually the quarterback does when that happens.
What strides has Debo made in year 3 in your eyes?
I mean, I thought Debo, as a rookie, he made a lot of strides halfway through that year. We threw him into the battle very early, even that week one versus Tampa. He had a lot to learn on the fly, but he got better throughout the year and was playing at a very high level when we got to the playoffs and the Super Bowl. His second year was just injury-filled, so he didn't get an off season. So when he came back, he wasn't totally ready to play football. Then he kept getting re-injured. So the second year was almost like it didn't even happen. And this year, I think, is what you were hoping to see the second year. He came in very prepared from what he learned his rookie year. Came in ready to go. Was in much better football shape, much better his routes. His stamina is better, and I think that's why he started off better.
Skill set is kind of unique, in terms of his build and the way that you guys use him. I mean, you sometimes see defenses try and take a receiver out of the mix. Is it harder to take him out of the mix than other people because of the ways you can get him the ball?
Yeah, just because, you can hand off the ball to a lot of receivers, and they got a chance on good looks, but, Debo's a real good running back, too. So, even if it's not a good look, he still has a chance to gain a yard or two. He's very natural at it, and the way his body's built, he can handle it pretty well. So, anytime that I think guys can take pass eligibles out of the game fairly easily if they want to. That's why it's good to always have another club in your bag where you can play a different position.
The last completion to Adams, obviously most people thought the ball was going to go to Adams. It wasn't that hard a completion. Was that the coverage you wanted, or was there any sort of bust defensively there? Yeah,
it was the coverage we wanted, two-man. It just wasn't the technique we wanted. Everyone should be inside technique, bumping, not allowing any in-break routes, and we didn't get that on the outside.
Are there any parallels to be drawn between, you had Robert Saleh, first-year defensive coordinator back in 2017, just how, he, at least to the untrained eye, looked like he kind of went through a process of learning how to do his job and get better and learn from your mistakes and all that. Is that something that D'Amico is going through as well?
That's something we all go through. Even people have been doing it for a while. You go through different stuff every week. Everything's adjusting, and each Sunday is a new Sunday, and the league evolves. So that's something everybody goes through. Comparing it to Saleh starting, it's just completely, to me, apples to oranges. We had a totally different team then, It's not that Saul just learned how to be a good coach and all of a sudden we did well. It took time putting the team together. It took time working and developing all that stuff, and I think we got there. I think we have a head start this year compared to where we did 4 years ago. We're a better team than when we started here. But the cliche thing, anytime the defense struggles with a first-time play caller, I know that's what everyone's going to say. People used to always say it about me. But, everyone learns with experience, but that's never just the absolute at all.
What's your conversation's been like with D'Amico over the past couple of days as far as just kind of, you seeing what he's doing?
Yeah, they're great. I love working with D'Amico. He's really smart. He's strong-minded. He's not just going to he's not a yes man at all. He's going to listen to you. He's going to tell you what he thinks, and he never is going to stop working at it. So I've been really impressed with D'Amico in these 3 weeks, when it's been good and when it's been bad, how he's handled it during the games, how he's handled it after the games. Thought he made some real good calls on Sunday night. Wish we had got a better execution on that last call of the two-man coverage, but that goes back to what you do throughout the week. It's not all about calling the play. It's about executing the play, and that has to do with coaching guys throughout the week.
What have you seen from the Seahawks these first 3 weeks?
I mean, very similar to how you usually see them. I know they're 1-2, which isn't what they're used to, but and I know their defense's numbers aren't very good, but I mean that won't be the case at the end of the year. They got some really good players. They got really good coaches. They fly around. They hit. They usually cause turnovers. They're a very good team. And looking at their offense, their new scheme is to me helping. It's given some other problems, some newer problems. Their receivers are as good as it is in this league, and they have one of the best quarterbacks to play in the last decade.
During training camp, you talked about using a 2-quarterback system, and you said that Trey Lance was too good to keep off the field. But through the first 3 games, it really hasn't played out that way. So why'd you change your mind on that?
I didn't change my mind. We have put him on the field. We do it in situations. You can go with whatever you want when I say in training camp, and you can expand on that or not. But, I think I was asked coming off the field of our 3rd game if we'd see this in the regular season. I said probably not. So, I think a lot of words have been put in my mouth with some of that stuff, or exaggerated pretty big. So I pretty much keep it pretty real to everyone, but I don't just tell everyone the answer. I have no problem with you guys overdoing that, and Detroit working on that extremely hard. But I've been pretty consistent with what I've said.
Sure. What was the purpose of bringing Lance and Garoppolo in and out in that final preseason game? I know you said you weren't going to use them that way, but it was just such a strange sight, and I think it created an expectation with some fans and media people.
Yeah, I mean, it was preseason. It was fun to do, but it has to do with the team we're playing the next week. It doesn't have to do with the reactions. It has to do with how people prepare for people.
Now,
Take 2 more.
on Lance's touchdown run, Mac had to get down the line there to make a block. I assume, when he was a younger man, that was not a problem. He obviously got it done. But how was he move at 35, as opposed to just when you had him in Atlanta?
I don't think he moves much different than when I had him in Atlanta. I think Mac would say in his first probably 4 years of his career, he was all athlete and extremely fast and stuff, and it slowed down a little bit as he got into his 2nd and 3rd contracts, but he still played at such a high level when I was at Atlanta, and I see the same guy now, so I think he's doing a pretty good job.
Having watched that play over and over again, is that not a play you can run with Jimmy because it was blocked so well? I saw that defender kind of get close to Lance, and in my mind, I'm thinking, was he fast enough to make that quarter? If it was Jimmy, just wondering.
Yeah, you can run it with anybody. I mean, the faster you are, the more you can overcome not great looks. If Mac didn't do a good job on that, it would have been tough for anyone. But definitely the bigger and faster they are, the better percentages you have for it to be a good play call.
After their game, after the loss to the Vikings, the Seahawks cornerbacks it seemed like they're on the same page. I mean, I assume you're not going to sit here and rip, how they played, but they do seem to get better as the year goes on. I mean, last year they were kind of a disaster defensively early on, and that's been improved. I don't know, do you see similarities between their early season struggles the last 2 years?
Yeah, I think, they went against some good receivers, and then the quarterback was hot. I mean, he was throwing some good balls, and whether they had blitzes or whether they played zone, he usually got that ball to the right spot, which always causes some problems. But, that's why they're not going to panic about their numbers and stuff. They're a good defense, and I think everyone will see that as this year goes.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, guys.